The Tragedy of Cinema podcast is intended as a family-friendly program that by extension strives to be inclusive to all people regardless of their ethnicity, gender, creed, or any other identifying factors in this incredibly diverse world of ours. With that said, some of the films we discuss may contain serious subject matters or have content considered morally objectionable by today's standards. We do not intend to condone or dismiss these aspects of these films, but our primary focus will be on what we believe the film succeeds at, some fun facts, and our personal enjoyment factors of each film. With that said, we hope you enjoy the show.
We didn't lie to you folks. We told you we had living, breathing monstrosities. You laughed at them, shuddered at them, and yet, but for the accident of birth, you might be even as they are. They did not ask to be brought into the world, but into the world they came. Their code is a law unto themselves. Offend one, and you offend them all. And now, folks, if you'll just step this way, you are about to witness the most amazing, the most astounding living monstrosity of all time. Friends, she was once a beautiful woman. A royal prince shot himself for love of her. She was known as the peacock of the air.
Sie ist aber prachtvoll, nicht wahr, Hans? She's the most beautiful big woman I have ever seen. Why, Hans, how you talk? I should be jealous pretty soon. Don't be silly. Don't be silly. I've seen these women making ice at my Hans. Of course, I ain't jealous. Oh, Frida, my dear. I have eyes for only one woman. The woman I asked to be my wife.
Fräulein Frida. Ich habe den Gürtel enger gemacht.
Das ist viel besser. Er war immer hinuntergerutscht. Er war zu los. Dankeschön.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Tragedy of Cinema podcast. I'm your host, Jimbo.
And I'm your co-host, Kyle.
Kyle, today I'm really excited to be talking about a really good movie that we stumbled across, Freaks from 1932. Mm-hmm. I will give a warning out right now that this movie was obviously shot way back when, where some terms, wording, and stuff like that may be seen as... what's the word I'm looking for? Like demeaning today?
Yeah, insensitive terminologies and in general just like that full disclosure we have at the beginning of every podcast, this is where it fully applies.
This is probably one of the reasons for that.
This is what we make the disclosure for, definitely for this film in the 30s here. So yeah, and we're going to fully admit now, we're not qualified to talk about all those topics for sure.
No,
we're just two white guys.
But we're just here to talk about this film. I'm telling you what, I have never watched a film, number one, that is so short as this, that gets in and tells a story and gets out and leaves you wanting more. This film covers everything for me. I mean, you have romance, you have murder, you have everything you could want in a movie, and it's jam-packed in there, and it's so entertaining and so captivating that it keeps you on the edge of the seat. And I tell you what, the last about 5 to 8 minutes of this film, my jaw was on the floor. I was like, this just took a really, really sick, dark twist. And I would rank this as a horror movie by that standard at the end of this film.
To a degree, I see what you're talking about. It's suspenseful, which is amazing when the film's only an hour long.
So, Kyle, I'm going to throw this question out here just so you know. Kyle, which one of the characters of the Freaks was your favorite?
Oh gosh. Mainly the small person who was like kind of leading I forget all the characters' names, but the one who actually had the cup and was actually serving the cup to all the people on the huge marriage table they had there, where he was giving the cup and he was actually induct the woman into the guild of Freaks. Yeah. He's probably my favorite character overall because he seems like the most protective of his entire family there.
I tell you what, man, character. But
who's yours?
What's the leading little lady?
Was it Cleopatra?
No,
it was Frida.
Frida,
yes. Days played by Jersey Earls.
How adorable was she, man? She was just awesome.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And the emotion and everything she talks about. She was probably my favorite. The one I was most shocked about was the Prince Nadania or whatever his name is, Prince Randian, the guy that has no arms and no legs. His work in this movie alone, wow. We'll talk about some of it in the trivia, but wow, amazing. So, Kyle, I don't want to take any more time because this is such a good movie. Go ahead and take it away.
And there'll be, I'm sure, a lot to discuss overall. The film is named Freaks, released on February 20th of 1932, although a release is kind of a weird word considering, like I said, it was banned for so many years. So it's hard to know, like when this film was really truly released to a degree. The film follows the story of a circus's beautiful trapeze artist agrees to marry the leader of a sideshow performers, but his deformed friends discover she's only marrying him for his rich inheritance. So, moving on here, we're going to go through the small technical details of the film here. We have a runtime of just 64 minutes long. So just
gets in and gets out. I'm telling you,
barely over an hour overall. Sound mix, we have a mono recording here. Color info, this is a black and white film. Negative format was 35 millimeters, and process was spherical. We do have some awards for the film, although not quite awards, as more as a collection of film history, rather. But in 2020, it was added to the Film Hall of Fame from the All-Online Film and Television Association. And then in 1994, it was added to the National Film Preservation Board under their registry. And finally, for the 2005 Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films, it was nominated for a Saturn Award for the Best DVD Classic Film Release. So, and to a degree, like, you got to think that 2005 is probably the first year it's probably been open to the widest audience possible. So, from some respects, like, this is a film made in the 1930s, but truly released now to a degree from 2005, 80 years later, basically, 70 years later, but still absolutely kind of incredible to think about from that perspective, because this film was just not available to see completely.
No, it's 92 years old.
Yeah, 92 years old. It's a film that's almost been buried by time, but luckily it's been saved, and I think all for the better for it, because this film is shockingly excellent in many respects. So that covers the technical details of the film and the awards. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the cast of the film here, and I'm going to go through the entire cast of the film, which is very unusual for me because usually I like to skip around quite a bit. But in this case, because of this being like many of these actors this is like the one film they ever appeared in, and secondly,
because we're going to throw this out here, because the director hired people with legitimate deformities
and actual and also they're not paid for laugh. They're played like real people. It's not like something that I feel like is demeaning to them at all in this film. So really kind of respectable in that kind of right too, which is very impressive for the 1930s again. So, anyways, moving on to the cast here, we have Wallace Ford playing the role of Frosso. Wallace Ford was also in the film A Patch of Blue in 1965. Lelia Himes was playing the role of Venus. Lelia Himes was also in the film Island of Lost Souls in 1932. Then we have Olga Baklanova playing the role of Cleopatra. Olga was also in the film The Man Who Laughs in 1928.
So we need to cover that sometime too.
Wasn't it the original inspiration for the Joker? The Batman film? Yeah, The Man Who Laughs. Next up we have Roscoe Atis. Roscoe was also in the film The Great Lover in 1931 and plays the role of Roscoe in the film. Next up we have Henry Victor playing the role of Hercules. Henry Victor was also in the film To Be or Not to Be in 1942.
That is the question.
Yeah, To Be. Harry Earls played the role of Hans. Harry Earls was also in the film The Unholy Three in 1925. Then we have Daisy Earls playing the role of Frida.
Kyle. Hans and Frida are brother and sister in real life.
Yes, but in this film they played
love interest. That's why they had they were getting.
Oh, but they were going to be husband and wife. Yeah,
but they had to kind of tone down the romance, if you will, because it was brother and sister. So
yeah. But also keep their kind of extremely kind of familiar with like films from that era, especially. So I wasn't off put by it, by the lack of affection or too much.
Oh
affection. Yeah, which I would have been grossed out, but there was obviously. But yeah, she was also. But Daisy Earls was also in the film Three Ring Marriage in 1928. Then we have Rose Dion playing the role of Madame Tetralina. Madame Tetralina. Rose Dion was also in the film Salome in 1922. Then we have the actress Violet Hilton playing the role of the Siamese twin. Violet Hilton was also in the film Chained for Life in 1952. Then we have Schlitz playing the role of Pinhead. Schlitz was also this is the only film that he appeared in.
I think it cut off because that was a real Siamese twin.
Yeah, and I don't have the name of the other actress who was
the other one.
Okay. As soon as you get it, I'm going to continue on though.
Okay.
Josephine Joseph played half man, half woman. Josephine Joseph, this is the only film they appeared in. The next few actors, this is going to be the only film they appeared in. Johnny Eck played the role of Half Boy. Frances O'Connor played the role of Armless Girl. Peter Robinson played the role of Human Skeleton. Olga Roderick played the role of Bearded Lady. Cuckoo played the role of herself. This is the only film Cuckoo appeared in. Prince Randian playing the role of the Living Torso. Prince Randian, this is the only film that he appeared in. Martha Morris played the role of Armless Girl. Elvira Snow played the role of Pinhead as Zip. Johnny Lee Snow also played the role of another Pinhead known as Pip. And then finally, Elizabeth Green played the role of Bird Girl. This is also the only film that she appeared in. Next actresses also appeared in other films. We have Angela Rosito playing the role of Angelo. She appeared in Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome in 1985. Then we have Edward Brophy playing the role of Rollo Brother. Edward Brophy also appeared in the movie The Thin Man in 1934. Matt McHugh played the role of the Rollo Brother as Matt McHugh in the film. Matt McHugh also played and was also in the film Street Scene in 1931. Then we have John Asen playing the role of Giant. John Asen was also in the film Why Worry in 1923. Then we have Ernie Adams playing the role of Sideshow Patron. Ernie Adams was also in the film The Pride of the Yankees in 1942. Moving on to the next page here, we have Hooper Ashley playing the role of Doctor. Hooper Ashley also appeared in the film The Return of Jimmy Valentine. Then we have Jerry Austin playing the role of the knife-throwing dwarf. Jerry Austin was also in the film A Saratoga Trunk in 1945. Then we have the actor Sidney Bracey playing the role of Hans's butler. Sidney Bracey was also in the film The Monster Walks in 1932. Then we have Mathilde Comet playing the role of Madame Bartet. Mathilde was also in the film La Boheme in 1926. Then we have Albert Conti playing the role of M. Duval and the Landowner. Albert was also in the film The Black Cat in 1934. Then we have Marie Cannell playing the role of Freak Show Barker. She was also Marie Cannell was also in the film The Public Enemy in 1931. Then we have Konstantin Romanov playing the role of Man Bringing Frida's Horse. Konstantin Romanov was also in the film The Private Life of Helen and Troy. Then finally we have Michael Verasov playing the role of Gene the Gamekeeper. Michael was also in the film Flight to Nowhere in 1946. Flight to Nowhere in 1946.
So it was Daisy Hilton. So Daisy and Violet Hilton, they were the Siamese twins in real life too. They were in that movie Chained for Life in 1952 and did some other stuff. So
yeah, presumably the whole film was about those two characters too being Siamese twins.
Yeah, and there's also one called Bound by Flesh. There's just a lot of...
She was clearly a fascination to many people around her for being a Siamese twin like that. Very uncommon for the time and still uncommon today. So yeah, couldn't imagine. Yeah, but that concludes the cast list of Freaks. Jimbo, I think we're ready to move on to some trivia.
All right, Kyle, you ready to talk about this? Mm-hmm. So basically this movie is about...
Excuse me.
What's his name?
Hans.
Hans. Yeah, Hans falls in love with, I believe her name's Cleopatra. Mm-hmm. She's a regular-sized human. But Hans is engaged to be, or loves, Olga. Mm-hmm. Is that her name? No.
No, Frida.
Frida. Yeah, sorry. Frida. And basically, Cleopatra is just dragging him along because she finds out that he's worth a lot of money. And she ends up starting to poison him or something. Remember when he falls ill and giving him thing, trying to basically...
Yeah, the idea is to try and marry him and then poison him slowly so he dies, and then she'll collect all his inheritance.
And boy, when the freaks find out, that's all I'm going to say about that. But here we go. Let's talk about some of why this is such a great movie. The electrical equipment on the set was so badly grounded that crew members were frequently shocked.
Oh my gosh.
So that guy that was stuttering the whole movie probably didn't really have a stutter. He just got shocked.
Or worse yet, they would have fixed his stutter.
Okay, here we go. Prince Randian, he's the man with no arms or no legs that we have talked about so much, developed a habit of lurking in dark corners and frightening passerbyers with a blood-curdling yell.
Oh my gosh. That's terrible.
It's awesome, but it's hilarious.
Terrible. That's terrible.
But, I was telling Kyle, I said, of all the people in that show, that guy right there, I mean, you just think, how would it be to have no arms and no legs like that and just
the enormous challenges of life in general.
Right, and I'll say there's more trivia here later, which I was like, really? So during filming, director Todd Browning was plagued with dreams in which Johnny Egg and a pinhead would keep bringing a cow in backward through a doorway in the middle of the shoots.
Look, this is just my backwards through a doorway.
The original casting had Victor McLaughlin as Hercules, Myrna Loy as Cleopatra, and Jean Harlow, which we've talked about her before, as Venus. They all balked at the prospect of co-starring with sideshow exhibitions.
Yeah.
So you're going to see a lot of that as we go through here, through some of these notes, that people used to look at those people as inferior to them. And you're going to see a lot of that in my notes about talking down about them, bad about them, stuff like that. So
yeah. And if anything, it's remarkable that this film treats these people with any humanity at all when so much of the general sentiment of the time...
Which is why it was banned in every city.
Yeah, exactly. This is why it was banned in the first place. But in general, the sentiment of the society of the time is that these people are lesser, inferior, and not worth speaking to even, or even deemed with any kind of respect at all, which is incredibly unfortunate, obviously. And it's surprising this film, takes the kind of tact to treat them with humanity.
All right, Kyle, I got a question for you. Kyle, did you ever go to like the Indiana State Fair?
Yes, I have.
Back when I was younger, which I know there's a lot of age
The olden times.
Yes. But they used to have, like, believe it or not, like the freak show, the sideshow. Mm-hmm. And I remember walking by one, and it was the shortest lady or whatever. And I was like, what? You know, and I had to see it, you know. I mean, you had to pay to go in and see it, but you could actually still see her from afar. And I was like, wow. You know, it just... Yeah. But even in my lifetime, still having that going on in the 80s, mm-hmm. It's very, I guess, disheartening. I don't know the word I'm looking for. Cruel for people to pay because of something.
On some level, it still feels wrong. Even though it's right, yeah. And there's a degree of mixed feelings about it too, because on one hand, it's just like that's kind of the only. For a person who has those kind of specific deformities or something like that too, that's kind of one of the only opportunities for employment in their life.
Well, it's like we just both went to Indiana Comic Con, and the shortest lady now was supposed to be there, but she canceled due to some health issues or whatever. You know what I mean?
So it's terrible to think like if by treating them more respectfully, we deny them their one opportunity of employment, that being kind of like being an expedition.
But I think when you open yourself up to an expedition like that, it comes with the opportunity for people to ridicule you more.
Exactly, yeah. So that's where it feels wrong in that kind of case too. So there's a bit of a mixed feeling about that. I know there was also kind of a degree of like the films of back in the day of blaxploitation flicks like that too, where it's like on one hand blaxploitation is, you know, exploit is in the title there, but at the same time too, that was also a valid form of employment for many people of color back in the time of the film era. So it's one of the things where, like, do you take this away actually being more of a wrong thing than a right thing? Kind of gets a mixture of emotions and those kind of things. So interesting thoughts. You know, we're not equipped to answer.
No. Especially Kyle with no coffee. During the 1920s and 1930s, photographer Edward J. Kelty took a succession of group photographs of members of the Barnum and Bailey Freak Show. What is interesting is how many cast members can be spotted in them. This film is the only movie credit for most of them. So familiar faces include Harry, Hans, Daisy, Frida, Peter Robinson, who was the human skeleton, Elvira Snow, who was a pinhead, Jenny Lee Snow, who was a pinhead, Elizabeth Green, who was the bird girl, and Olga Roderick, who was the bearded lady. Cast member Olga Roderick, the bearded lady, later denounced this film and regretted her involvement in it. Although Roderick was the most vocal in her dislike of this movie, many of the freaks expressed their disdain. Only Johnny Eck seemed to have praise for this film throughout his life, and Johnny Eck was played by who?
Johnny X.
Who's Johnny Eck?
Johnny Eck. Yeah, I'm struggling to find it here.
All right, I'll keep going.
There was the role itself, Johnny Eck. Okay.
I think. It says only Johnny Eck. So.
Half Boy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was a man who didn't have any legs. Yes.
Yeah. Great job.
Yeah.
F. Scott Fitzgerald. You know who that is, right?
Yep.
He was a member of the MGM writing department at the time this movie was in production. It is said that one day, as he came into the studio commissary for lunch and saw the Hilton sisters, who were the Siamese twins, one was reading the menu and the other seemingly understanding it, he was horrified, became nauseous, and left the lunchroom. He would later go on to ride off a studio filming a circus picture.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So F. Scott, you just dropped some in my book. In the United States, this film was banned in a number of states and cities. Although no longer enforced, some of the laws were never officially repealed. Therefore, it is still technically illegal for this film to be shown in some areas of the USA.
Yeah, granted, no one ever enforced that law now, but it's one of those things like technically, yeah, still illegal. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, and this film was filmed at the MGM Studios in Washington Boulevard in Culver City, California, too. So actually, this film was, So, yeah, this is also the first exposure for a lot of those for a lot of those circus performers to actually go to a real, filming studio at the time, too.
During a publicity photo session with Olga Baklanova, midget actor Harry Oles kept making lewd remarks. Many of her surprised and disgusting visual expressions in the photos that the session yielded are authentic rather than posed.
Jeez.
This film was originally banned in Australia. Dwarf actor Angelino Rosito, who appeared as Angelino, would go on to a successful career in movies. He would act with Bela Lugosi in 3 movies: Spooks Run Wild in 1941, The Corpse Vanishes in 1942, and Scared to Death in 1947. Angelo was also in TV and films, including Little Mo in the Robert Blake TV series Britta, and as the master opposite Mel Gibson in Mad Max Beyond the Thunderdome.
Mad Max, the third one. Yeah. Cool.
The film, it's him, right?
Yeah. Oh, him, sorry.
Right?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, he.
Him. Yeah.
The film was rejected for UK cinema, showing in 1932 and again in 1952. It was finally passed for cinema with an uncut X rating in May 1963, making it one of the longest bans in the UK history.
Wow. That's long. That's pretty long ban.
Dwarf John George, for reasons unknown, does not appear in Freaks, even though a role was specifically written for him in the screenplay. Here we go, Kyle. One woman, after seeing Freaks, wrote a letter to Todd Browning at MGM exclaiming that you must have the mental equipment of a freak yourself to devise such a picture. Another viewer complained, to put such creatures in a picture and before the public is unthinkable.
Before the public. Just the idea that viewing them alone is something that is condemnable is really awful. A lot of bigotry from the audience of this film.
Yes. Although production chief Irving Thalberg decided to recut the picture immediately after the disastrous test screening, he could not cancel the world premiere on January 28, 1932 at the 3,000-seat Fox Theater in San Diego. This is the only venue at which the uncut version of Freaks is known to have played. Ironically, hang on, I lost my place here.
Ironically.
Yes, ironically. The unexpurgated Freaks was a major box office success. Crowds lined up around the block to see the picture, which broke the theater's house record. By the end of the run, word has spread that Freaks was about to be butchered, and the theater advertised, your last opportunity to see Freaks in its uncensored form.
That reminds me, actually, I skipped the budget of this film here. The budget for the film was $310,607 in 1932, which, adjusted for inflation, would be about $7.1 million today. Gross worldwide, though, because of all the bans, it made just $4,072. Which, adjusted for inflation, would be about $93,194.70 today. So out of a
I kind of wonder how much it's made since then, though. As it's becoming unbanned, you can buy it on DVD and Vudu and all that stuff.
But of course, by the time this film was unbanned, that money probably never made its way to the people who actually developed this film in the first place. So, yeah, incredibly unfortunate. And now it's just MGM's pocketbook for what's basically a write-off.
According to one source, director Todd Browning was introduced to the story by Cedric Gibbons, longtime head of MGM's art department. He was supposedly boyhood friends with author Clarence Aaron Todd Robinson and convinced the studio to purchase the film rights for the sum of $8,000. Another source claims that the diminutive actor Harry Earls gave Browning a copy of the story during the production of The Unholy Three in hopes that he could star in the adaptation. Samuel Marks, head of MGM's story department, recalled with peculiar pride, and so Harry Rapp, who was a great moral figure, got a bunch of us together and we went in and complained to Irving Thalberg about Freaks, and he laughed at that. He said, we're making all kinds of movies. Forget it. I'm going to make the picture. Tom Browning's a fine director. He knows what he's doing, and the picture was made. But the lunchroom protest didn't end, and as a result, a makeshift table was constructed, and the cast members of Freaks, with the exception of Harry and Daisy Earls, Violet Hilton and Daisy Hilton, and the more normal cast members were forced to eat their meals outdoors.
Okay.
Kyle's just looking at me in disgust, shaking his head.
Just shaking my head, just like, hatred.
Kyle, you must record outside now.
Yeah, it's only fair.
Olga Blaklanova later recalled the day when she was first introduced to the supporting cast. She played who?
Cleopatra.
Thank you. That's the main female, right?
Yes.
Okay. She says, Todd Browning shows me little by little, and I could not look. I wanted to faint. I wanted to cry when I saw them. They have such nice faces. They are so poor, He takes me and he says, be brave and don't faint like that, like the first time I showed you. You have to work with them. It was a very, very difficult first time. Every night I felt that I am sick because I couldn't look at them, and then I was so sorry for them that I just couldn't. It hurt me like a human being.
No, that's pretty sad.
It is sad, dude. It's so sad.
It's just hard to know what to say to that.
Yeah. Hell, here we go, Kyle. You ready? A woman who attended a 1932 test screening for the film claimed later that she suffered a miscarriage resulting from the film's shocking nature and threatened to sue MGM.
Oh my gosh. Jeez.
But you gotta remember, they're not used to the movies like we are when you see all this.
Yeah, I guess. Oh my God. Still, claiming a miscarriage because you saw a film is wild.
Director Todd Browning worked at a circus in his youth, both as a clown and a contortionist. His familiarity with circus folks inspired him to create this film. Daisy Earles plays a character named Frida. In reality, the real birth name of Daisy's sister, Gracie Doll, who was also a little person performer, was Frida's. Daisy's actual birth name was Hilda. I don't know what I just read there, but that was kind of crazy. I was trying to follow it, but it lost me. I got derailed on that one. Once studio head Louis B. Mayer saw the sideshow entertainers when Browning had cast, he was horrified and tried to have the picture shut down. It took all of Irving Thalberg's persuasive skills to keep it going. Most of the sideshow performers were put up at the Castle Apartments next to the MGM lot during filming. According to Johnny Eck, the sideshow performers started going Hollywood during filming.
Started going Hollywood?
Several of them began wearing sunglasses in public, and some demanded special treatment on the set. They also argued over who was the most important to the film.
Oh my gosh. That's hilarious.
Well, I mean, they're in the spotlight, man.
Yeah, they're in the spotlight, having fun the first time ever. Yeah.
Right. Todd Browning took a particular liking to Johnny Eck, nicknaming him Mr. Johnny and giving him rides on the camera dolly. Eck claimed that Browning wanted to make a sequel to Freaks, focusing on Eck himself, which would have been awesome.
That would have been interesting to see. Yeah.
The performer with the worst reputation for prima donna behavior was Olga Roderick, the bearded lady. Despite Todd Browning's orders to leave her hair natural, she showed up on her first day of shooting with her hair and beard dyed jet black and with a marcelled hairdo. Jeez.
She's the performer. What can I say? Mm-hmm.
On the lot, one of the most beloved of the sideshow performers was Schlitz.
Yeah.
Most prominently featured Pinhead. His fans on the lot included Norma Shearer, but when he asked to meet his favorite star, Jackie Cooper, the child actor was highly disturbed by this. Schlitz was so enamored with the filmmaking process, he even came to the set on days he wasn't called.
Oh, wow.
One concession Irving Thalberg had to make to keep the film in production was by the overeating arrangements. Led by Harry Rapp, studio executives had complained about having to look at the performers during their lunch breaks, so a special tent was set up for their meals to keep them out of the MGM commissary. Only the little people and Daisy and Violet Hilton were allowed to eat in public.
Jeez.
The film's premiere runs in Chicago and Los Angeles were miserable failures. No exhibitors in San Francisco would show it, and it was banned in many areas. By contrast, it was a big hit in Cincinnati, Boston, Cleveland, Houston, and Omaha. Prince Randy's scene of lighting a cigarette was cut short. He also rolled that cigarette. This is the guy with no arms and no legs, and if you watch him light the cigarette and smoke it, it is one of the most amazing things you'll ever see in cinema history.
Incredibly impressive.
Now I want to see him actually roll the cigarette too, because I don't know how. Yes, how.
Yeah.
But he was also, now this blew my mind too, he was also often carried around the set by his son. Kyle's face just looked at me like, he finally clicked for him. He was
Torsos need love too.
Right, but
yeah. Still, yeah, I know.
I'm not going to touch that one because I have questions and I don't know
where and how. Yeah,
I don't know. Well, I know how, but I'm not even going to say. I'll just say adoption. Okay, the film initially ran over 90 minutes, but was severely truncated following the horrific reactions it provoked. That extra footage is now presumed lost. Man, I would love to somebody find a reel of that. I'd love to see it.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Following the huge success of Dracula, which MGM director Todd Browning made on loan to Universal, he was instructed by MGM production chief Irving Thalberg to give us something to out of horror Frankenstein. Another Universal hit at the time. Browning was essentially given the freedom to make whatever he wanted, but Thalberg was completely unprepared for what he produced.
I can see that, yeah.
There's an original novel called Spurs that I'd like to read, but it was purchased as a property for Lon Chaney, who abruptly died of throat cancer in 1930. This is including among the 1001 movies you must see before you die, edited by Steve Schneider. Entertainment Weekly ranked this as the 24th scariest movie of all time. It might be higher in my book. Mm-hmm. Although some sources credit Delmo Fritz as the sword swallower, this is not true, as Delmo died in 1925 and could not have played a role in a movie which was filmed in December of 1931.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Yes, this is ranked number 3 in Entertainment Weekly's top 50 cult films of all time. Todd Browning's career never recovered from the disastrous initial release of Freaks. From then on, MGM put him on a tight creative leash. Of his subsequent films, only The Devil Doll in 1936 had some of the spirit of his earlier work, but it is marred by a compromised script and a weak ending. Browning retired in 1939 and spent the rest of his life in seclusion.
Oh, jeez. That's
Poor
sad.
guy.
Yeah.
The hashtag Release the Browning Cut is used to get the original version of this movie in London after midnight.
I guess it's confusing anywhere, not even if it could exist today at all. I don't know. Like those real still exist somewhere. They're in MGM studio, storage locker somewhere. Who knows?
In the early 1990s, a company called Barker Brothers released a set of 3 diorama model kits featuring the human oddities from the film. 6 were planned. The tops of the diorama were intended to spell out Barker, but only 3 were produced: Schlitz, Lionel, and Prince Randy, and with the Screaming Bullet. Man, those would be cool to have, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really cool stuff.
The film's original ending showed Hercules singing soprano in Madame Tetralini's new sideshow because he has been castrated by the freaks. After intensely negative reaction by the preview audience, the scene was cut.
Yeah, that's a pretty dark scene as well. It's easier if you just died, I guess. Oh my gosh.
Special variations on the ending are still in existence. However, the footage of Hercules singing soprano was not included in any of the foreign versions and is now regarded as lost. I'd like to see it too.
Yeah.
Numerous other bits of dialogue were removed that depicted the normal humans as disgusting creatures and the freaks as gentle and sympathetic, destroying the social critique of intolerance Todd Browning was attempting to construct. While the circus awaits word on Hans' declining health, one of the Rollo brothers coldly remarks, "You'd think the world was coming to an end just because a mangy freak's got a hangover." In another scene, Madeline Tetralini responds to the Rollo's taunts by defending the humanity of her children. "Ah, you cock-ons, you beast. They are better than you, all of them, you 2 dogs." The reunions of Hans and Frida seen at the end of The Most Prince was not part of Todd Browning's original cut. It was added during the re-editing to give a film a happier ending, which I'm glad they did because it was pretty dark there.
Yeah, definitely.
The bird costume worn by Olga Baklava near the end of the film was originally designed by for Lon Chaney to use in the film West of Zanzibar in 1928. A scene was shot with Chaney in the costume, but was deleted for the final release of the print. 4 years later, director Todd Browning decided to use it for this film.
Oh, wow.
And last but not least, on the day that Olga Baklava, Cleopatra, shot her famous final scene, the majority of the cast posed with director Todd Browning for a group photo. Standing beside Baklanova is Henry Victor, who is Hercules, whose final scene was ultimately cut from the film. He also appears to be wearing a duck chest under his tuxedo jacket, although it's difficult to make out behind the giant plume on Cuckoo's head. So, Kyle,
yeah,
let's let you let's hear your thoughts and feelings on this, buddy.
Well, ultimately, I probably don't feel as strongly as you do, where you feel very emphatic about it, but I think I'm a little bit more hesitant to call it great necessarily, but I do think it's very, very good. I'm very, very surprised by this film overall. You're right that it totally is this is a jam-packed film for only an hour. It is a movie. It definitely goes for it in a way that is incredibly respectable in that respect. It's unfortunate Todd Browning kind of lost his career after this, and some of the other people also kind of basically blacklisted from Hollywood as well. It's unfortunate this film got banned in so many respects. It's unfortunate the lives they had to lead because of the bigotry of the times and eras they had, for sure. I think this film does a lot to bring all of those aspects forward in a way that is uncompromising and difficult to look at from a sense of hatred and not of the sense of these deformities being disgusting. It's something that is difficult to watch and remember that, man, people kind of suck sometimes. And you got to teach yourself to actually be, human. Overall, I think this film is a pretty probably going to feel about it giving it like an 8 out of 10 overall. I think this film is right on the verge of being great in many respects, and historically I think it's incredibly significant, and overall it's a film that, like, if you're a cinema buff, you kind of have to watch it to kind of get a sense of film history in that kind of aspect. Overall, though, as an entertaining watch, for me, it kind of goes closer to a 7 or 6 out of 10, where I think it's very, very good, but not necessarily great. I didn't find it entertaining so much as I kind of find it captivating for different of the real world reasons going on around it versus the actual film plot itself. But overall, still an incredibly strong film that I can't help but respect and find myself fascinated by in many respects. So that's where kind of fell my thoughts on the film. Jimbo, how do you think you feel about this film?
All right, Kyle, here we go. So I had never watched this movie before. I'd heard a lot about it. People's like, you got to see Freaks. You got to see Freaks. I was like, why do I got to see Freaks? It's been on several of the top 100 lists, and I finally said, fine, I'm gonna watch it. And I remember seeing like an ending clip of the end of the movie, and I'm like, what is going on here? Years ago. So this is why I chose this movie, and it made me sit down and watch it. To me, the story flows very, very quickly and very, very well. It shows that the humanity that even the freaks have is sometimes greater than the humanity that the humans, normal-sized humans, have. Look, it's not their fault. It's not people's fault. I'll just even throw it in today that some people are born with deformities or looked at as a lesser individual because of something in their life. You can look at a lot of mentally challenged people, and it breaks my heart when you see them out at restaurants and stuff, because you feel sorry for them. So while watching this movie, you sit back and you think you're watching all these. I use the term freaks loosely as I'm talking, and so no disrespect to anybody.
Yeah.
But you sit back and you think, well, how good do I have it? This guy has no arms and no legs. This guy only has half a body. These Siamese twins, they're falling in love with two different people. How is that going to work out in their relationship? And you just felt, I really, really felt for Frida in this movie. I think she did an outstanding job. Hans was excellent in this movie. They were brother and sisters. You can tell their acting was on superb. And I think it shows, just even today, it shows how hateful people can be to people that are different than them and making fun of people in situations that don't need to be made fun of. You know me, Kyle. I'm all about having a good time and laughing, and even at the expense of me or you.
Yeah.
But it's all in good fun. The stuff that is shown in this movie and some of the comments that we read was not done in fun. That was like real life hatred. So for me, I am giving this movie a 10. I even think that it has moved up into my top 10 list of all time.
Oh, wow.
I think it is a very important movie that people need to watch. It is very eye-opening. Even you can tell that even like, what was it, American Horror Stories Freak Show?
Heavily inspired by
Heavily, you can tell. Mm-hmm. A lot of the same freaks in that, the Pinhead and stuff like that, are you can see them being drawn from freaks. It's amazing.
Very directly. Yeah.
So I'm glad it's opened the door. 90-some years later, that some of these people are getting acting opportunities, but you got to remember, people are different, and that's okay. Just because God created them a different way doesn't make them any lesser of a human being than you. Just that's Jimbo's pedestal speech for the moment. So
fair enough.
Definitely. If you have not watched this movie, give it a shot. We'd love to know what you guys think. And I know some people it may be hard to watch, but that's sometimes not a bad thing. Sometimes that's a good thing. So, well, if you want to reach us, we are the Tragedy of Cinema Podcast on Facebook. We can reach us at the tragedycinema@gmail.com. If you want to come see us at our live show, yes, we haven't talked about that in a minute. I believe it's October 26th, Saturday at the Boone County Gel and Distillery with Jackie and her team. It's going to be fun. You know what? Maybe we should show Freaks that night.
Yeah, we could.
We might be banned. We might be thrown in jail.
Yeah, we'll be banned in jail for it.
Yeah. So, with that being said, I think this episode's coming to a close, and that's a wrap.
And cut. What a...